you to think about the last time something new in education came about and what was the immediate response. For me, and I say this a lot, I'm a woman of a certain age. I remember when laptops and computers, believe it or not, when they began to take full effect in our buildings and districts across the state and across the country. I noticed something interesting back then. The knee-jerk response to the computer use, the widespread computer use in classrooms and buildings was negative. It was met with skepticism and it was met with resistance. And that was a legitimate concern. And then once we got to understand the use and the benefits of having laptops and computers and other forms of technology in schools, we began to see different ways and different understandings of how they could be beneficial. I want to share with you some historical background around what happens oftentimes when there are new innovations brought to school. Believe it or not, the chalkboard was seen as a threat to educators. And here's what they thought. I'm reading from history. It says, in one-room schoolhouses, it disrupted a model built around individual slates and small group teaching. So if you think about a one-room schoolhouse, they had each child would have an individual chalkboard, basically, a little chalk slate, and then they would be able to walk around the classroom, and the teacher could go to the each individual group and they could work. And so having a chalkboard at the front of the room disrupted that pattern. That was something that was interesting. But then they began to understand the use and benefit of the chalkboard and the small group slates. Calculators. Remember when calculators were seen as an affront? Interestingly enough, here's what's said. In the 1970s and 80s, calculators were feared because they thought students would lose arithmetic and conceptual reasoning. Were they wrong? I don't know if they were wrong. I do know that there was deep concern about calculators. And then we got to a point where calculators were used with a more judicious lens.